going on, Premier League football fans? Welcome back to Arch Rivals. We have seen another exhilarating week of Premier League football. Some late drama in the last game of the week, biggest game of the week, and a lot of other interesting results going on. Some big teams losing to some not so big ones. I don't know. What did you guys think of the week?
I loved it.
Yeah, you loved it?
It was a great week.
There was a lot of goals. I think two games are had 10 goals between them.
2 hat tricks.
3 hat tricks.
Three hat tricks. Yeah.
3 hat tricks this week. A lot of goals. A lot of late drama. A lot of excitement.
A lot of questionable calls here
Yeah.
and there.
A lot of questionable calls, that's for sure.
A lot of depression for me.
Yep.
Nice.
Mo going off the deep end. Just another week of football. We start the week off with a pretty interesting tie between West Ham and Luton Town, two teams that people did not think were going to be good prior to the beginning of the season. West Ham just getting results, man. That's what they're doing.
Luton Town's first Premier League home game.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. First ever.
So they must have finished the I think they had special dispensation because they needed to fit more people in the stadium, and they needed to add underground heating to the what's it called? The actual field.
Field, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy. Happy for them to get their first home game. Sadly, it was a loss to David Moyes' Hammers, but
I think they were robbed at the end of the game. I think it was pretty much a handball, but they didn't call it, and VAR didn't really check it.
yeah.
They could have got a point. I don't see Luton getting more than 10 points this season, to be honest. So that could have been a big thing for them to stay up. So
Early on. Questionable calls early on. I mean, Bowen continuing his run of form. I was doubting West Ham in the beginning.
Yeah, I think you're just seeing them get results. That's what David Moyes has done.
Play their game, too, yeah.
Yeah.
James Ward-Prowse with an assist.
He looks great. He
Yep.
does such a fantastic signing to kind of get their midfield back in order.
Sorry, Mo's staring at me again. And yeah, I think they really defined their game and they're rolling with it. You know, set pieces, and big men in the box. It's kind of hard to go wrong with when you play Brexit ball and you got James Ward-Prowse whipping in balls from wherever, whenever.
You got Kurt Zuma, 6'4", jumping out. Cat kicker.
Hey,
Jumping. That was a great goal for
fantastic
him.
header, yeah. All cats aside, you know.
You don't like him, but damn.
But damn. And
They-
I
they
think
some
that
cool cats.
I saw a video pre-match of a Luton Town fan making a joke about
Kurt
cat
Zuma.
kicking, and he was laughing.
I think they're just saying cat kicker
Yeah.
the whole time when he was training.
No, they like got his attention. They were like, Kurt. And then they made a joke about cat kicking, and he turned around and tried not to laugh. But we could see you laughing, Kurt. It's not funny.
I think I saw a video of the Burnley fans directed towards James Maddison. I know we're not on that game, but they were like screaming at him, "Southgate was right. We think you're shit." Like screaming at him because he never gets called up for England.
Yeah.
And he took it like a champ and walked over to like put the ball down for a corner, and then he purposefully just rolled the ball off of like the corner spot.
Yep.
And then just looked at the whole crowd as they went nuts.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. He seems like a good lad.
The Brits sure know how to talk shit to each other. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
I think this is West Ham's best ever start in a while. Maybe because Declan Rice wasn't that guy for them. And,
Best ever start in a while.
They replaced him with 2 better players in Edson Alvarez and James Ward-Prowse.
Oh, that is crazy.
And they are cooking out here. I'm just saying, man.
They're cooking, and they have the same number of points as Arsenal. So,
Mo is a walking contradiction.
yes, I agree.
Best ever start in a while, and they robbed Luton Town of a point, but West Ham's cooking.
But their midfield is better without
Yeah.
Declan Rice.
I don't think that's a contradiction.
Well, we could get the dictionary out, but we don't have to.
Yeah.
Wes Anderson, I think his name is Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
First Premier League Luton Town goal
Yeah.
ever, and I think honestly the fans were probably happy that they just scored a goal. They got to celebrate at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lively crowd. It sounds great from the TV. I'm sure it's incredible for them. They probably know what's coming, but take the money while you can and try and come back next time.
I mean, knowing what it's like to have a score goal at home for St. Louis City, I know this isn't our MLS pod, but that feeling is great. I can only imagine what it's like if you have been going to the games for years and you've been promoted all the way from the 5th league of English football all the way to the Prem. You got to go nuts whenever they score.
And who knows? I think there's plenty of possibilities for relegation fodder this season. So maybe they can squeeze one out and stay in. I don't know. There's another game later on. In fact, it's the next game.
I was about to say, speaking of some relegation fodder.
Yeah.
We got Sheffield United, Everton. 2-2 draw, so obviously an interesting game, to say the least.
It's a funny situation when you get to say the words that Everton were lucky to walk away with a point versus newly promoted Sheffield United.
Yeah, absolutely. They, Jordan Pickford with an own goal that ended up being their downfall.
But he also turned out to be their hero.
Yeah.
Double save at the end.
Yeah. Soccer's a funny game.
Saw Danjuma score one, Abdoulaye Doucouré score one, and then Cameron Archer for Sheffield United also score one.
Great. I mean,
Archer?
Yeah, his goals were fantastic finishes. I mean, even though one of them was technically an own goal, it was really because he placed it right in that inside post and it bounced off and went off.
Went off of Pickford.
Yeah.
Do y'all think the quality of these bottom teams are getting worse and worse each year?
Maybe it's everybody's getting better.
I think what happened last year is that a lot of the teams that deserved to get relegated didn't.
Yeah.
Is what actually happened. So Leicester didn't. I don't think they really deserved it, as well as Leeds. I don't know if they really deserved it.
Everton definitely.
I think Everton deserved it, and they kind of scraped by at the end of the season. I think you're just seeing the fact that not only do we have freshly promoted sides that look not great, but we also have remnants of a past season that probably shouldn't be there anymore, just floating with them at the bottom of the table.
And if you're an Everton fan, you gotta kind of be fuming because you barely scraped by relegation one season, and then what does your ownership do to really invigorate the team? Not much.
I think
sell all your players.
When you're getting Neil Maupay on loan. No, you're sending Neil Maupay out on loan.
And they just sold Alex Iwobi full, complete sale to Fulham.
And also McNeil, too.
Yeah, Dwight McNeil.
He's gone to Saudi Arabia, so he's gone, too.
I didn't know that.
I think they're one of the 3 teams that are in the positive, net spending this year. I think Everton just spent too much money in the last 6 years. I think up to $500 million.
Yeah.
And it just didn't result into any wins or anything, and they can't keep on spending.
They're like Chelsea, but they
somehow
started off
worse.
in a worse spot.
They're like Chelsea, but with no external revenue.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
selling any good players.
They're like Chelsea without original good players to lean back
prop them
on.
up, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been doing that for years, and for a while, I remember Everton fans were talking about all those big money signings that they were making for years.
Oh yeah,
it was the year that they were going to be better than Liverpool every
single
time.
year. Yeah,
it was the year that they were solidifying their team.
It's a little sad because they are a Premier League staple, and that rivalry is probably one of the longest standing rivalries in the Prem with Everton and Liverpool. So that will suck if they end up going down.
It'll be funny because they just built a new $500 million stadium on the river or something, and if they go down, I don't know if they're gonna is it gonna be Derby County again, getting liquidated and
have to sell.
You have
if you go down after that, you have to sell.
The team.
Yeah,
I don't know, but the thing is
you're
they might
red.
get point deductions because they're spending a lot of money. It's like when Arsenal moved the first time, they couldn't spend money, and that's why they were bad for a while because all the money just went into the stadiums. In America, we pay for the stadiums. The fans pay for it, not the ownership. So Arsenal, the reason they just started becoming good again because they're allowed to spend more and more money now.
If Everton gets relegated, then I would probably guess the team gets sold, and then whoever buys the team sells all the players that are worth any money, and you're back to square one in a shiny new stadium.
It might attract the top level championship players to get them promoted, though. So that might be a good thing.
Maybe they'll be back to their level. Everton's back to their
Everton,
level.
it's time to get relegated.
Yeah, you're on your level now. At least you know.
You'll never be Liverpool.
Yeah.
Move
agreed.
cities, actually.
Speaking of a different level,
Agreed.
Man City this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. It started off looking, I mean, the game was pretty interesting. I got to watch most of the first half of this one. And
It was like the only interesting point of it.
right. So it was kind of back and forth, and you saw Julian Alvarez score one, assisted by Erling Haaland, and then the GOAT, Tim Ream, St. Louis GOAT, responding off of a corner. So it's 1-1 almost going into half. And then I think the only moment of contention that I have in this game is that Nathan Ake goal off of a corner where he heads it in. Akanji is like standing directly in front of the goalie,
Yeah.
like blocking the ball. I think that's just a very clear not
Offside,
a goal.
though, right?
He's in an offside position, and he's very clearly standing in front of the ball, shielding it, and then he moves out of the way at the last second. I think that goal should have been pulled back. Maybe it changes the result, but Erling Haaland gets a hat trick in the second half. So
Yeah. Clear cut, not goal. It's pretty embarrassing to not call that back.
I think I like what Erling Haaland did after the game. I don't know if you guys saw the presser. He goes, "Yeah, it's not a goal. That was offside." He goes, "I would be pretty mad if the refs let that one in," which I kind of liked instead of like Bruno Fernandes. It is what it is type of vibe.
It is what it is when it goes in my favor.
Yeah.
right, it is what it is until I have to
Until
about
I
the refs.
cry.
So I like that about Erling Haaland coming afterwards and just saying, "Hey, that wasn't a goal."
Yeah.
But
I
regardless,
think it's a luxury of the rich.
Agreed.
He scores a hat trick in the second
You
half.
get to have that humility when you win 5-1.
5-1,
You're like, yeah, it would have been 4-1.
But what y'all think about Julian Alvarez, Phil Foden, and Erling Haaland's link up? Because that was nasty.
It does look really good in
fucked
the
up,
absence
man.
of De Bruyne. Yeah, it's just messed up that they can lose arguably the best midfielder in the world in terms of attacking play and to replace him like it's nothing.
Also, this is like big from Haaland because a lot of people were making fun of him for not able to score without KDB.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no KDB, no goals, Haaland. But now he just bags a hat trick and
One of them's still a pen.
It's a classic Holland hat trick too. Not taking away from it at all, but I feel like
He scores a lot of goals after
Yeah.
the game's already kind of been wrapped up.
no, and also that like you could have a lot of Holland highlights in a row, and all the goals would be very underwhelming, like headers from 6 feet away or tap-ins from
I think that's
6 feet away.
I think that's
sweaty
true
goals.
of his time at Man City, but I remember his time at Dortmund where he would be like running through the midfield
Yeah.
and just pull up from 25 and laser one. So he's definitely got the quality.
I mean, it's a luxury thing. He doesn't really have to do. He doesn't have to carry anymore. So
The
he
chances
just needs
come to him, man.
get where he needs to be, and the ball's gonna get there too.
But I
Yeah.
love tap-ins, man.
Yeah,
I think he just makes those runs at the right time. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, anybody can do that. Well, clearly not, because Gabby Jesus was there and he didn't do that.
yeah.
that's
Like
what they say about Ronaldo too.
Pinaldo, he's washed, bro. Let's
Okay,
not
but
talk
I'm talking
him.
about in his heyday.
Yeah.
They called him Tapinaldo because he was always there.
Always in the right spot, man.
Yeah.
It is a skill. So, moving on to probably my favorite result of the weekend.
Me too.
Nottingham Forest beats Chelsea 1-0 at 3 Point Bridge.
Hilarious.
It's like, dude, I don't.
The $1 billion team.
It's truly insane, especially looking at this game and specifically Moises Caicedo's performance in this game, which was not good. And then contrasting that with Declan Rice in the Arsenal game, how he cost more money than him, I have no idea.
I would say Levi Cole, Moses Caicedo, and Ben Chilwell did not look the greatest today.
Yeah.
Nicholas Jackson, I thought like he missed a sitter.
Yeah, he did. He missed one from like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
It was
was
pretty rough.
bad.
Yeah.
I know they have the youngest squad in the Premier League at like 22 and a half.
Yeah, 22 and a half.
You do it to yourself.
But
Yeah, I just don't. Their spending doesn't make any
It's-
sense to me.
it's-
So Pochettino comes out in a press conference like after that game, or maybe it was before that game, when they signed Cole Palmer, and he basically
He
acted
didn't
like
know.
he didn't even know that was happening.
It's like Bowley only knows how to run a soccer team based on FIFA.
Nah, bro, he's tanking for next year. He wants good draft picks.
I think he's doing the baseball method, just stack up talent and see what happens.
Yeah.
And nothing's happening really. And I think they're getting rid of players that are better, like Lewis Hall.
The Newcastle fan thinks Lewis Hall is one of Chelsea's better players. I wonder why.
Watch him at the end of the last year. He was better than Ben Chilwell, better than Cucurella. Why would you sell your academy player at 19 that's showing more promise than Cucurella?
Because academy players can be written down as pure profit on the books.
And they can also take a whole turn out of nowhere because they're 19.
Also, Cucurella, the reason he didn't go to United, because they started him in the Carabao Cup. So he was cup locked. So they said, we don't want him anymore. So United did not get him on loan.
Chelsea playing chess.
Dude, it was a bad result because Chelsea probably could have made it next year's New Year's resolution to score a goal in that game, and it still wouldn't have come. They looked so toothless. And part of that is just where is Raheem Sterling when you need him? Where is Nico Jackson when you need him? Like, those guys have to be popping up with goals, or this team is going to suffer immensely. Like, if you were gonna spend all of that money in the summer, why not go back in time, sell some, like, don't buy a few of those players, and just go out and get like a Victor Osimhen. Like, I don't know if you can even attract him at this point because you're not in UCL football, but get a proven goal scorer instead of getting all of this talent that is currently failing you in the Prem.
When your whole issue last season was a lack of goals.
The last 2 seasons.
And you don't buy an established striker, it's crazy. And you have all that money and you're clearly flashing it. That's all you're doing. And might I say, Caicedo wasn't just not good. He was the reason they got scored on.
Yeah.
He lost the ball in midfield. And, man, his low-light tape is adding up at Chelsea already.
It's kind of nuts.
It's hilarious.
On the other side of everything, Nottingham Forest looked good.
Yep.
Awoniyi, still a beast. He's picking up something every week. He got an assist this week, and that view from basically behind the goal where he just nutmegs Thiago Silva with that pass, and then Elanga finishes it off. That's a tasty highlight there.
And it's even funnier because, again, like Everton, like Chelsea, Nottingham Forest do the route where they get a bunch of cash and they blow it all on a bunch of people, but it seems to be working for them.
Yeah, they spent the 10th most net spend was Forest.
Well, when they came up last year, they like
200.
Sold their whole team and bought a whole new team.
Chelsea's at 200 million euros, highest in the Premier League net spend.
Okay, that's crazy. If you are a fan of Chelsea Football Club right now, you have to seriously call into question the ownership of the club, because it doesn't seem like they and your coach have a cohesive viewpoint and vision for going forward, because they're buying players he doesn't even want.
And the more your team fails, the more you got to wonder, is this just God's will?
Is God willing me into submission here?
It kind of reminds me of the Wolf of Wall Street scene where he's like, oh, this has huge upside potential, but he's just lying to him about the stock. Oh, it's going to go through the roof in 10 years. Then they buy the player, and he's like, I don't know how to kick a ball yet. Sorry.
That was actually Arteta last year in January. He was like writing the article for The Athletic. Mudryk has huge upside potential. And now he just rides the bench.
Maybe these other owners are just that much better. They're playing the political game.
They're playing chess, not checkers.
You see, that's what I think a lot of times. I'm like, why do like let's say Brighton and Shan's, like, why do they have way better scouts?
Recruitment?
Like, it's clear.
Oh, it's insane.
And they don't they're not. I don't think they're paying them as much as the other scouts. So why are they able to do what they're doing?
And the question is, even if Chelsea went and bought Brighton scouts instead,
they're shit.
It probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, it probably still wouldn't work.
Because Todd Bowley would just ignore them and
be like, no, we want this guy.
Yeah, he'd be staying up late all night on YouTube,
watching highlight tapes
next
like
player
Mickey.
Finding the next player to buy.
This is why Liverpool should sign Mudryk. Those videos?
Yes. Yeah. It's usually the welcome to Liverpool or welcome to Arsenal whenever someone just gets bored and they're like, oh, there's some rumors. Let me throw together a highlight tape.
He's on YouTube and he calls his constituents. He's like, when did we buy this
When did
person?
we sign this guy?
This guy is
YouTube
great.
says, welcome to Chelsea.
When did that
When
happen?
did we get him? Oh, we haven't yet?
Well, you better buy them.
Gotta
There's
make
YouTube
it
videos
happen,
right now.
yeah.
Use the company's credit card immediately.
Joke club, joke ownership,
Yeah,
joke fans.
where are they sitting right now on the table? Like 12th. It's looking rough.
London is in a battle, and it's not between the Blues.
Yeah, I think they're 12.
Yeah, we got Chelsea sitting in 12th. They play Bournemouth next, so
Bournemouth's been looking a little toothy. Might give them a run for the money.
I don't think Chelsea has beaten anybody good yet, so
I think their last victory
was
before Luton Town was against Bournemouth away. So
I wouldn't be surprised by a draw with Bournemouth. Not going to lie. Dominic Solanke.
I wouldn't either. That boy Filippo Belingus. Philip Billing. Looking good.
Yeah. Shout out Riley.
Yeah, shout out Riley. Getting into our next game, Tottenham in another title race at the beginning of the year.
I love Tottenham.
You love Tottenham?
Ronaldo, man.
They're fun to watch.
They are absolutely fun to watch. This game was action-packed from beginning to end. We had a 4th-minute goal for Burnley, starting off hot. And this game is at the Turf Moor, so it's kind of rough going down 1-0 in the 4th minute away from home. So to have the resolve to get Son Heung-min, the 16th minute goal is a delectable finish.
Yeah, he needs to stay a striker. Like,
I feel bad for Brennan Johnson because I feel like he came in to play that striker role for them.
He's need more of a winger,
He'll
though.
just be a winger now.
He can play kind of across that forward line.
I think he'll just like switch out with Mansour Solomon.
Solomon.
So them two can just basically switch out. Son has to be the striker because no one else on that team can finish like he can.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's got to stay.
Last podcast we were talking about how they need to get their true striker to win games, and they found him from the left wing.
Yeah, I think they found him.
Yeah, he scored 20 goals once. I think he's going to do it again this year.
I'm excited
I don't know.
for him.
He did have a moment like this last year where he was like Suns looked better this year than last year for sure. Still not back to his old self by any means, but last year I remember they subbed him in against Crystal Palace maybe, and the dude just scored a worldy hat trick in like 30 minutes of the end of the game and then proceeded to go the rest of the season without scoring.
Man.
So I like Son Heung-min a lot. I think
love
he's
him.
a great player.
He has my favorite UCL moment of all time. Pep calling Spurs Harry Kane's team for the whole week before they played.
And then Son
he
Heung-min
scored,
played.
like kicked him out of the Champions League, runs up to the camera and goes, "You know who I am?" I'm like, "Damn, bro." And
That's
Pep
hard.
just went home.
It's kind of like that Kirk Cousins moment.
Kirk Cousins was like
that? You like that?
Yeah, I think they might be in a title race because out of any team that can beat City at home, hey, they got City's number every time they come to.
That is true. They do have City's number. I'm intrigued to see if they can go injury-free for these. I mean, we're entering the international break, but injury-free up until like December and maybe bring in another player. See where that kind of brings us. But for now, they look insanely good. James Maddison looks probably like the best midfielder in the Prem right now. I mean, what do you guys think?
I think he's a creative
I'm biased.
monster. No, I don't think he's the best, but I think Bruno Fernandes is probably edges it out for me.
Really?
But
Okay.
Madison, it was the missing piece of what they were looking for since Eriksen, because they didn't have that creative midfield to help him set up goals and help him score goals.
Yeah, he is such a different profile than Eriksen, though, in terms of what he can do on the ball. Like Eriksen is
Playmaker.
a insanely good Premier League midfielder, but was never a player that would drive at you like
Go get a
Madison
goal.
will.
Yeah.
He looks so good. They look like a well-oiled machine.
I would like to see them against, better opposition. We'll see
Yeah.
how they do.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
the
They haven't exactly had a crazy
they beat Man U, but a lot of
Who
people beat
doesn't?
Man U thus far.
joke team.
Getting into our next game, we got Brentford-Bournemouth, which is, I mean, it's crazy how good Brentford look without Ivan Toney. They are going to be spoiled if they get to the middle of the season when they're about to get Ivan Toney back and can play hardball again for him, because I think that people are going to be looking for a striker.
I think they're up. I heard a rumor that they're going to sell him for $80 million. And
well, that's what they played hardball with this summer. People were willing to pay 60, and they were like, "No, we want 80," and they just
think
wouldn't sell 'em.
Arsenal are going to get him.
You think so?
That's my prediction.
Interesting.
To be fair to Bournemouth here, they did squeeze out a tie in like the 90th minute.
Yeah, 93rd minute, Mbomo scored a goal
At home. So
I think that Thomas Frank is the most underrated manager possibly in the world right now. The dude is that good. I think he is the special sauce. They could lose whatever players they have, and he will make something work, because they are the only team from promotion where they went from having like 60% of the ball in the championship and kind of dominating the game to playing a counterattacking style of soccer in 1 year, and like can still go and change the way that they need to play on a week-to-week basis based on their opponent and still look insanely good. They look well-drilled in everything that they do, and none of their players are household names except for Ivan Toney.
I would say Thomas Frank is good, but most underrated, I would have to say De Zerbi. Just because like he loses his best players constantly. Like every window, someone's gone. Like their like net spend is $100 million this year.
yeah, but I
and
think
they're still cooking.
everyone rates him though.
I think
that
he's pretty
reason.
well rated. Yeah, I think that.
I think he should be higher rated. Than some like Aaron. I think he's better than Erik ten Hag.
I think a lot of managers are better than Erik ten Hag.
I don't know.
Man's fraudulent.
I think that De Zerbi is well rated because people are already talking about him being Pep's replacement in the future. Like you got to be well rated if that's where you're kind of coming from.
Is already at Arsenal. Waiting.
Yeah, you think so?
Just waiting for the
No,
day.
I think if Arteta goes anywhere, it'll be like Real Madrid.
No, he's gonna go Barca, bro.
Barca? Or yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is a La Masia Academy graduate. I'm an idiot.
I mean, we shall see. I think. How do you say his name? Pasalalu.
Pastelagu.
Oh, Ange Postecoglou.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I
He's
like
pretty
him, bro.
underrated.
I like how
Yeah.
he talks too. Like, just he's kind of funny as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
just
Aussies
like-
are funny.
I think. I mean, he came into the season with no pressure. It was the best scenario possible for Tottenham. They brought in a bunch of like pretty good talent and then lost Harry Kane at the death, and basically everyone was like, "Well, Tottenham's gonna be shit." And now they're not.
Yeah. My prediction's not looking good so
I
far.
thought he was gonna be good because he kind of like has not his play style, but like he kind of reminds me of Arsene Wenger for some reason. Just coming from like kind of Japan, then go to Celtic, and people's like, "Oh well, anybody can do well there." Then he comes here and he just like he's cooking, like he's
Yeah.
cooking something, and I can see it now.
And I saw a video of Brendan Rodgers talking about how if you can handle the pressures of guiding a Celtic team to a title, then you can handle pretty much any pressure because those Scots don't fuck around.
Especially because they're used to winning. So if you like, there's a pressure of you have to win. Like,
It's. I mean,
especially since they lost the year before.
Didn't Steven Rogers or not
Steven
Steven
Gerrard?
Gerrard come from
not the same
Rangers
pressure.
Yeah, no, but Rangers
with an undefeated season?
No, but Rangers were like didn't win for the past 10 years straight.
Yeah.
And he came in, and I also heard, you know how like Eddie Howe has Jason Tyndall right next to him all the time?
Yeah, his like
Yeah.
who your right hand man is.
Gerard
can
had
matter
a
lot.
right hand man, and apparently once he left,
Is over.
it was like Gerard actually doesn't know how to manage. He just knows like he's like kind of more of a man manager.
Yeah, like
but he's
a
not the tactician.
Carlo
on the-
Ancelotti type, a Zinedine Zidane type, Sir Alex
Yeah,
Ferguson type.
But he tactically, he's just not. Even in like Saudi Arabia, he's doing okay. He's not doing the greatest.
Okay.
4th place, baby.
5th.
Damn.
Damn.
Rip.
Well,
Jorginho Wijnaldum.
two teams that are probably going to be fighting for 4th and 5th this year. Brighton and Newcastle.
Yes, let's talk about this.
See, I'm not worried.
I mean, I think you should be, just because, I mean, this is an awful run of games for you guys. I don't know exactly what your schedule looks like
Villa,
upcoming.
Oh no, we're gonna play we're gonna play a lot of mid-table to lower team like Sheffield, Burnley, Brentford. I think Wolves up until we get Arsenal. I think I'm not too worried because all the games that we played this year, Villa we won last year, Liverpool we lost last year, City away we lost. The only game, the Brighton game, that we tied last year. So we technically just like won like that 1 point we lost from last year.
And now you get dumped on.
Also, we have injuries too. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're not worried then,
I'm
even
not.
though you
I'm
have
not.
injuries.
I'm not too because we have an international break coming up, so they can recoup, come back better. But also another thing I would say is, I think a lot of the players, because I've been hearing this last year specifically, were playing out of their skin, and I can see those players coming back to their levels. I can name 4 of them: Almiron, Nick Pope, Dan Byrne,
Fabian Schär.
Nah, I would say Fabian Schär. I'm saying more Joelinton, especially. I don't think he knows how to play with both Tonali and Bruno going up, and he kind of like doing the dirty work. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets dropped and Sean Longstaff starts instead.
So you're not worried in that you recognize that it's not a season for you guys to be very successful.
I'm still hoping for it. Even with my preseason prediction, I was saying top 6. I was never saying Champion League run again, just because if you look at it, we spent less than all your teams. We have a worse team. Like starting, Eddie Howe came in like worse team than Arteta had or Jurgen Klopp had, or like it was a relegation squad, and some of those players are still there playing.
So you're not worried in that you recognize your team's going to play on their level, because it's true you guys played over your level last season.
Yeah, but
I would
you
say
reached the
some-
Champions
like-
League
like
much
against-
faster than expected.
Like against Liverpool, I think we played better than them until the 80th minute when Nunez came in and Botman kind of got hurt. Then they just like in the midfield, they don't know how to. They're not meshing well in the midfield yet.
And so, yeah, I'm really looking to rub some salt in the wound here because, I love you. But you're not worried, even though you're already having injury problems. You're already losing games, and you're not even in Champions League yet.
But we also, all this happened last year.
But you weren't in Champions League last year.
It's not like we can like fumble Champions League and still continue on the season. There's also January coming up. And
True.
also like we finally got rid of Castor as our kit supplier. So now instead of $5 million a year, we're going to get paid $50 million a year. So if January comes along, we might just spend, $200 million again and just say, hey, let's get a center back, a right winger. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, we exceeded expectations rather than like we went from championship level team to Champions League in less than a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we couldn't spend that much money comparatively to like other teams like United, Liverpool, all those teams.
Yeah, and I think you guys capitalized on a season of normally top-tier teams playing under their level.
It was only Liverpool because Chelsea's still playing bad. United's playing bad. It was just like there's only Liverpool that played
there's
worse.
this season there's a lot of teams.
But also I
underperforming.
can say that like last year Brighton played better than expected. Austin Villa played better than expected. There's a lot of teams who proved that they're better than what they used to be.
Yeah, Brighton look like they are here to stay.
I just thought Liverpool played under expectations last year.
My
And that's
question is, at one point, do you wonder, is Eddie Howe
A fraud.
not a fraud, but
fraud
just
alert.
not
Is
at
he
his
above
level?
his level?
If we're talking about levels, yeah.
But the thing is, it's like, what I would say is, when did Klopp win anything? In his first 2 years? No. In his third, fourth year, he started showing more progress.
Yeah, but Klopp also won things in a real league.
Yeah, but Klopp also had, better players. Didn't Klopp get relegated with Mainz? Yeah. Bournemouth, same shit. Like, it happens. Once you get to a better team, that's when you start proving. Like, oh, I'm a good
you get better
manager.
players.
Like, you think he would have won with Mainz, the Bundesliga? No, he wouldn't have.
But he brought them from relegation to.
Yeah, Eddie Howe did the exact same thing with Bournemouth, who took him from League One to the Premier League, stayed there for a couple of years, then got relegated. Same shit with Klopp.
So you're all in on Eddie then?
I would say a manager deserves 5 years.
It's a good comparison. I'll give you that.
5 years before anything. Like Pep came in to a Premier League squad. Eric Ten Hag came into a Champion League kind of caliber. He had players.
Yep.
We had people was like, yo, Joelinton is not even a real player. People used to call him
People hated
not
that
Brazilian.
Hated that man.
The biggest flop in the world. Almerion had 0 goals for 2 years. He equaled the amount of goals in one season in the last 3 years before that. There's a lot of players who are not that level that he had to take in. Well, like Klopp, Pep, Arteta had players who are quality, like some of them, like close to world class.
Yeah.
It's definitely refreshing to see Mo eat some humble pie. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Humble.
I only
Humble.
When we
I only
didn't-
ask these questions just because of how much
We
we
have-
talked last season and leading up to this season. And here
'cause
we are.
Everyone talks all the time like, "Oh, my team won a Champions League." I'm like, yeah, no, because you buy everyone's best player, so no one can compete with you. You financially like.
Not really. What does
Na-
the Champions
name-
League
okay,
have
okay.
to do with that?
How many academy players do you have that won you a Champions League? One.
But Champions League doesn't really have anything. I would understand if you were talking about like the Premier League and buying all the best players in the
Premier
Prem.
League. How many players did you have that came from the academy? Only one. Trent. That's it. Was Virgil van Dijk an academy player? No. 70 million. You bought him from someone.
Yep.
Mane, 35 million. Allison, another 70. You're buying players from other teams to make your team better. Some
Yeah.
teams can't do that. There's only 14.
He's backpedaling.
Yeah.
Not
we could
backpedaling.
get the receipts. We could get the receipts
what?
in the chat and
We're winning the Champions League.
All right,
there
we
it
go.
is. That's the Mo I
That's
know.
the Mo I know.
PSG, who? Mbappe, fraud. Rafael
Mbappe
Leao,
versus
I like
fraud.
him. He should come to us.
both of those versus
in terms
Dan
of people
Burn is
that
gonna
I
be
like
great.
and should come to Arsenal, that boy Evan Ferguson.
Oh, he's coming Newcastle.
Nah,
Guaranteed.
that dude is gonna go for 150 million. We
No,
don't have to spend much time on
150.
his.
150.
You know how much they just got?
200 mil, dog. He just signed a new 6-year contract.
I know, and look at how much they just got for
bagged a hat-trick
Caicedo.
against Newcastle at the age of 18.
Yeah, bro. Nah, but I thought we were bad. So
I didn't say you were bad.
he said that last night to me.
All right,
You're not
moving
good,
on.
that's for
moving on. We got Crystal Palace Wolves, which is a crazy game. Odson Edward with 2 goals, Eberici Eze getting another goal, and then Huang Hee-chan and Matias Cunha scoring on the other side. Wolves look like they were trying to pull it back in the end, but at the end of the day, I think they are a relegation candidate, and Crystal Palace look exciting.
I think Huang Hee-chan needs to be starting. I don't understand how Fabio Silva, there you go.
Silva.
How he's starting over a man that seems to come on and score every time he gets the opportunity.
That's true.
I don't get it.
You
It
know
was
who
a
I
great
love
goal.
that's playing great now?
Who?
Pedro Neto. After
Yeah.
that injury he had, he's cooking now, and he's gonna have a big move if he continues this.
Yeah, and then who did they just sell? Mateus Nunes to
City.
City.
City. Yeah.
It's interesting because not too long ago, probably like 3 weeks ago, a lot of people were wondering about Crystal Palace's strikers because they don't seem to be scoring.
Well, Odson
And-
Edward wasn't a proven goal scorer in the Prem until now.
Well, yeah.
Like he's
until
starting to
this
show.
game.
Yeah. I mean, he
What
scored
I
first
meant
game of the
is
season.
they actually rotated in, what was it? What cup game did they have?
Oh,
Where Mateta scored a hat trick. It doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
were wondering,
Plymouth.
yeah,
Plymouth.
who was going to be their number 9 because it's questionable. But Eze, again, looking crazy. His goal was great.
I think just the Roy Hodgson system, like comparative, like to
Vieira.
Vieira, his more like systematic, like not free flowing, and I
Yeah.
think that's what's helping, especially as a just like, hey, do what you want, bro. Go like just play that 10 role. Don't work on like you don't have to track back if you don't want to. Kind of just cook, bro. And that's what's happening. He just like even like once Roy Hodgson came in, he goes, "I just cook, dog.
Yeah,
Like do what you got to do."
give him stability too.
Yeah. Manager constantly backing him.
Yeah,
He needs an England call up, man. He's so good.
He is insanely good. Talking about other midfielders that look insanely good. Dominic Szoboszlai and Liverpool take on Aston Villa.
Hungarian KDB.
Yeah, 3-0.
that's my best midfielder in the Prem right now.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say that, but
Nah.
A true 8. The closest thing we've had since Gerrard.
you think he's an 8?
No, I think he's an 8, like kind of 10-ish.
Yeah, I was
Guy.
about to
Yeah,
say.
but when you watch his work rate up and down the field, it's crazy. The man is never not running. The man is never not putting pressure on defense, offense. I mean, he's just
I need to watch
everywhere.
him a little more closely because when he played at Leipzig, and I watched a few of those games because Arsenal was linked with buying him, I think, a year or two ago when his price tag looked like 30 instead of 80. And, I mean, he looked like a great player, but he's playing
looked
more
like
on
an
the
attacker.
Yeah, he looked like a right winger almost.
See, that's what I wanted. Newcastle,
Yeah.
I was really wanting
You guys
him
could
to come.
use it.
Yeah, but the thing is, we don't have the financial fair play because he had to pay 70 straight up because you guys triggered his release clause.
Yeah.
But the thing about him, I would say he fits that system like a glove, and the way he strikes the ball
I mean,
is insane.
Oh, that hit
dog.
is
we literally
great.
haven't had a midfielder of his caliber, even when we were winning Prems,
Wijnaldum is
UCLs.
pretty good.
Not like that.
No,
And
yeah, I
this is-
agree.
This is really early on, so obviously things could change easily. He could get hurt. Who knows? But Wijnaldum wasn't hitting pissers like that.
yeah.
And
Nah,
I mean,
yeah.
this man, you should see his heat map.
I don't think
Bro.
Liverpool's had an attacking midfielder like him in a long
I think
time,
they
just
all-
because the system never required it.
And they
Dude.
all got hurt a lot. Like Naby Keita, kind of like he just
Yeah.
played like 4 games, then he would just break both of his legs. And
This dude is the truth. He's played 360 minutes straight.
you know
and
who's the
scoring
truth?
goals like this? I mean, that's a crazy goal to score as your first goal at Anfield
Yeah.
in your
Bro.
first season in the Prem. Like, I thought there was going to be some turbulence getting him acclimated to the Prem, but obviously
good.
going from Leipzig into Klopp's system, it's probably not that big of a difference.
No,
so
it's not
he's
difficult.
ready
Yeah.
to go.
I
mean,
always thought he was going to be great when he came in
looks
here.
like a
I was
true
so upset.
scouser. He's going to be a legend.
But you know who played fantastic? Well, I always give him shit because I don't
Joe
think he's
Gomez.
I don't think he's a right back. But
Trent looked great.
bro.
Oh, he's
he like just in
Don't
terms
say
of
he's back.
No,
Do not
just,
say
I'm,
that.
not
I'm not
gonna, I'm
gonna.
not gonna say he's back.
I'm not gonna.
But just in terms of like ability, of
That-
like what he can do, he is generation. I cannot name. There's like out of all the English players, he's like the third best one when it comes just straight ability.
Yeah, I
Other
agree in
than
terms
that,
of like
I-
a talent
Like
ceiling.
talent, like bro is like if he
That
plays
ball
like
to Mo Salah
Yeah, to
was
set up
crazy.
the
off
the
balance
the
too.
Matty Cash own goal.
Yeah.
he needs to play right mid or something.
That one hurt my fantasy team. Yeah,
Me
we
too.
can talk. We
Me
can talk
too.
about Aston Villa a little bit. Another center back goes down with an injury, and I'm not sure if this is a.
I think it's an Unai Emery type of thing because he has a lot of people tearing up their ACLs every
I
single
think
year.
Diego Carlos is done.
Really?
He's 30 ACL. Tyrone Mings
He had
30
an ACL last season too.
Yeah,
Was that his ACL?
I think
on
it
Saturday.
Was, I don't know, but I think he tore his Achilles that one time, which is still
Yeah.
bad.
I was briefly hopeful for him, but man, that's rough.
Like I feel bad, like for like because I've torn my ACL, and it's just like just coming back from that, it is extremely difficult.
I'm
And I'm a normal person, and that thing is really hard to come back from.
excited.
For Liverpool,
Yeah, this
I-
felt like old school. Not old school, obviously, but
I
you know,
think-
back in the day when.
I think when you guys had Coutinho, it's like going to be like that high scoring, but you guys are going to get scored on.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got a
honestly,
clean sheet,
Coutinho
though.
is like the most comparable midfielder to Szoboszlai in terms
Except
of an.
Coutinho
like,
didn't play defense.
Yeah, he's not moving up
I'm
and down
telling
the
you,
field.
this man is the closest thing
I
to
thi-
Gerrard that we've had in a long time.
I think come
I think
January,
Gerrard played a lot deeper most of the time.
I think-
he was a great ball striker for sure.
I
But
think come January, and you guys are in title contentions, you sell Mo for 200, plus that 100 for Lavia, reinforce that midfield, and get an actual six,
I mean, I-
then and a center back.
I feel like Klopp has the capability to turn a Gravenberch into a six, a ball playing six.
But that like it, an example would be like Bruno Gomes. He's playing 6, but when he plays 8, it's like he goes from like a normal 6 to a world class 8. Like you want to play your players in their
where they
preferred
belong.
Okay,
because
but
they'll be
what-
disgruntled too.
Think about this though: if you have a midfield of 3, and obviously Szoboszlai is more of an attacker, but he's still capable of being a CM. If you have 3 quality CMs that you can not even rotate as in like change game to game, but in the game you can say, hey, one of you is a CDM right now and the other 2 of you are CMs.
You see,
Go for it.
I don't
Bada-
agree. Just because Newcastle's doing the exact same thing right now with
Yeah, but it's
Tonali,
just not
Joelinton,
the same
Joelinton,
levels, mate.
and
This is
Bruno.
just difference in pedigree.
pedigree.
What is the difference in pedigree? What are you
Like,
talking
What are you
about?
talking about? Like who's better?
I think
Szoboszlai.
Guimaraes is better
Better
than
than
every
Mike-
midfielder on your team.
I disagree.
Szoboszlai is second in that conversation.
I think I'm gonna throw this. Like, you don't understand. Like, players are gonna get disgruntled. They don't like if you play something you don't want to play. After a while, you're like, dog, I just don't want to do this.
Isak was unhappy all last year because he was playing the left wing when he wants to be a striker.
So here's my question though: is what did Klopp say to Gravenberch, who's disgruntled at Bayern?
That he's gonna play.
Hey, you can play here.
You can play. We will put
over
you
there
in the
he
game.
wasn't playing.
He played
because they
360
want
minutes.
because Tuchel wanted him to be a CDM.
No, he just wanted him to. He just didn't play.
Just didn't play.
He just
Because
didn't
they played
play.
a double pivot and
Yeah.
they needed 2 CDMs.
Well, then
Okay,
he needs
Kimmich-
to be an 8.
But
not a
Kimmich is the CDM.
So then you're benching who? McAllister or Szoboszlai?
No, just you can have him like as
You've
a
been
rotation
playing
piece.
McAllister at CDM all season, except for one game.
But like you can have depth.
This weekend, Curtis Jones looked more pushed up than McAllister.
Oh, absolutely. McAllister
Yeah, but you
definitely
want-
played CDM
but like,
in that game.
At this point, for a title race, you want depth. You can't have just 4 players. You need like 6 in the midfield to play. Plus Champions League, but you guys are not in that. You're in Europa League. So you need all those
You just
players.
snuck that in there.
You need all those players to like actually like because it's a long season, especially in the Prem. They have more games than they have more cup competitions. Like it's a long season.
All I'm saying is you got a midfield of all 3 engines, just 3 engines.
I get what you're saying. I think that
It's not that big of a deal.
Bro, like the
And
reason
you're
we
right, we are going to score a lot
the-
of goals.
The reason we lost against Liverpool because we didn't have a 6.
The reason you lost against Liverpool is because Darwin Núñez is your dad.
No, the reason we lost.
Darwin Núñez was no
because-
one's daddy this week, and he was back to his XG merchant ways.
Still making goals
Yeah, and he still missed chances.
and got an assist.
You know,
On, Mo's goal?
Yeah,
He also should have gave
yeah,
Mo an
bro,
assist
bro
because he
jumped
should
in
have
the
scored
air
that
and
one.
He scrapped his head and went behind him.
that's
Yeah.
that's literally
He
a
didn't
drawn
bro,
up play.
Bro, he
What do you
didn't
mean?
mean to do that.
It's a clear drawn up play. What are you
He mean
talking
to-
about? Why do you
what-
think Mo was back post at
I
that
don't know if
moment?
it was
Because he just
drawn
ran
up.
From right wing.
Yeah. Klopp said, "Hey, just pass it back to him."
Yeah. That's a soccer drawn up play. Are you serious right now?
I'm serious.
I don't know if it's drawn
Drawn
up.
up. I don't think it's
every
drawn
corner
up.
you should have a back post runner. I think it's
He's just like that
tried to
happens.
put it on frame and it went back post.
Yeah, in case someone like in case
He
the
clearly heads
goalkeeper
it backwards.
stops it. What about the header that he missed?
The one where he was like stuck
open?
between kicking it or heading
No,
it.
he just went and just missed it. He's like wide open. He just missed the whole goal.
Yeah.
I was talking about that Mo Salah
Back post.
outside of the right foot ball.
Yeah, where he tried to. He
It
couldn't
should have been an assist.
decide if he
because-
wanted to kick it or head it.
Yeah, and he like
ended up
karate kicked it.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
like half. He like had his knee at his forehead.
Yeah.
It was weird.
He kind of reminds me of Grealish, like low
He
IQ.
just screwed
but
up my
baller.
weekend, man.
Yeah, y'all
Mo
just
screwed
mad.
up my weekend too.
No, he looked dangerous. He just didn't look like he could finish again because he blasted the one off the post that ends up going in off Matty Cash, which is, I know, it's unfortunate for Matty Cash and fortunate for Liverpool that ends up going in. And then he does, I guess,
I'm
create
not worried.
a goal. He got to start this weekend.
It's a
and
long
I wouldn't
season.
say he looked bad.
It is a long season, and it's okay. We don't have to talk about Liverpool for this
An
entire
hour.
episode.
Yeah, I want to talk
Just-
about that fraud.
Just know that we're back in the title contention.
Yeah, title contention. Like how many
What,
times?
for the Europa League title?
No, the Premier League title.
You know, I hope to
Oh.
God that you guys like are in titles contention and just lose by 1 point again.
Again.
I wouldn't be surprised. I already talked to Riley about this. I was like, Riley, it looks like we might be back in a Liverpool City battle again. And he was like, yep, and we'll just get back to us winning.
Yeah.
And
Speaking of Manchester, we had another Manchester
The
team
shitty
player
side of Manchester.
that
Man
always
U.
cries about every single day. Oh, we should have had 6 penalties or 2 red cards
when your coach and your captain are big baby bitches,
Yeah,
it's kind of not a good look.
they definitely were the worst of the two teams. It felt like a classic Man U away game.
Yeah,
where,
I felt like they're going to pull it out
yeah, where they might pull it out
for no reason.
just
Had
because
no
they
right
have
to.
Marcus Rashford.
Yep.
And he did score a great goal in this game that, in my opinion, Ramsdale should do better with.
I think Ben White was at fault. He
Why?
gave him a lot of space.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
you
a hard
you
situation
want to
be
drive
in.
him into the middle because that's where you have other defenders, and it makes it harder
Yeah,
for
but
him
like
to.
Saliba's
also where
right
he
behind.
rips.
For some reason, Saliba's like right behind.
I know.
Ben White. It was weird.
It was a
like-
weird
I feel like
miscommunication.
if anything, you want to keep it on his left.
Yeah, maybe, but none of it's good because he's their only good player.
Nah, I think they got good players, dog. I love
Oh,
how
the kebab merchant?
No, he kebab merchant. Nah, Rasmus Højlund, he looked really good.
You think he looked really good?
I think he looked really good for a 19-year-old to come in a big game. He should have got a penalty.
No, he shouldn't have.
Yes, he. I think he should have got a penalty
crazy.
against Gabriel. He pulled them down. Also, Gabriel did foul someone on that second goal. I think there was some iffy calls on both sides.
I call that retribution for the fact that Victor Lindelof was snoozing when Eddie Nketiah tried to get the ball going down the sideline when he thought it was going to go out, and goes to head it into the ground because Lindelof's on his back, and Lindelof just karate kicks him in the face, studs up,
That had to
and
be
then
a red.
proceeds to take out his legs afterwards. That
How's
has
that
to
not
be
a red?
Because the Varchester United.
Okay,
who
you
is
guys are
the-
Arsenal too. Let's be
All right,
honest.
Liverpool.
Liverpool, dog.
Nah.
Who was?
What do you mean? They looked at the penalty that they gave us and proceeded to
Who's
call
the
it
ref?
back.
Who's the ref?
I mean, last game
What was last game?
when Saka fouled the shit out of somebody.
You mean this game?
No,
This game he fouled it. I thought it could have been a red, but
when Saka fouled somebody and it led to a goal, that was last week too.
yeah, against Forest.
Yeah,
He did pull down someone.
Yeah.
And it was then you
And
guys
then
scored
got
immediately
past- yeah.
afterwards.
Oh, gotcha.
Arsenal.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's
Arsenal
all-
versus Varchester
But the thing is,
United.
that's all big clubs. They get calls because everyone's a fan of that specific club and they just want them to win.
I do think that
Because
it
I would
is
do it.
a ridiculous
gonna lie.
thing how many officials are known Manchester.
Man U fans. Yeah,
'Cause if
it
I
feels
was-
like they get the most calls in the league for sure.
If I was a ref
been that way for
and it
a
was
long
1-1
time.
against Liverpool Newcastle, they get in a penalty.
be
90th
fair-
minute.
Man U was the best team in the league for the longest time, so they obviously have the most fans, and those fans are probably the age of the referees. So
Yeah,
Who's the ref?
I think it was it Anthony Taylor in this one?
Oh,
Probably.
Anthony Taylor is ass.
Yeah.
If that was
He
classic
is-
Man U
Yeah.
fan.
Let me get the,
even when
lineups.
what's it called the Roma game against Sevilla, he was very questionable. I don't
Yeah,
think he was
didn't
messing
Roma-
with Jose because
Yeah,
he's like, you made fun of Manchester United. Guess what? You're not winning this final.
Roma
I'm breaking your streak.
could have won that. But to be fair to him, they also called back a United goal that was very, very, very tight.
Yeah, it was Anthony Taylor.
Very tight.
The
I mean,
Garnacho
it
goal.
was tight, but he was off.
Yeah,
And I'm so glad, too, because he started kissing that badge like he
Yeah.
is worth anything other than
Garnacho.
That was a good goal.
super sub.
He's a great finisher.
yeah.
He is,
I'm gonna be
one-on-one,
honest.
he's a great finisher.
He's a
but
great
He's been
finisher.
starting games in games where they have to, break down an offense. The dude does absolutely nothing, and
He's
people
like
just
Darwin
ride him.
Nunez to me.
Huh.
Like a super sub. Like if you're tired legs, you're not stopping him.
A super sub
Please don't get me
that
pissed
starts
off about
a game and contributes to 2 goals. That's crazy.
When he
Yeah.
started a super sub, he scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
Think
he
about
did.
that one. Yeah.
All I'm thinking about is being top of the table.
You see, you're not top of the
Well,
table.
I know. That's what
Um,
I'm thinking about.
Okay.
You know what I don't like about Manchester United?
Wait, we skimmed past Newcastle without talking about them being in 14th.
Oh, that's true.
That's crazy how
That's
we
crazy,
talked about
bro.
Chelsea being in
Like-
12th.
14th. Did we spend 700 million? No, we spent
Well,
less than everyone on
still
this
in
table.
14th.
That's true.
You know what I don't like?
Speaking of spending a lot of money.
United. One thing I don't get,
Fraud. Eric
You're not
Ten
getting-
fraud.
Okay,
He's
this
such
is, what,
a fraud.
this is what I don't get about Manchester United. I understand their problem with the Glazers. They're bad owners. I really get it because they don't update the stadium. They don't put money in that. But they do spend the money that the club generates. They don't invest in their own money 100%, but they do spend it. And it's like, how much do you want them to spend out of the club's money? Because all the fans they didn't back Eric Ten fraud. They didn't back, but you spent $200 million buying
they
players.
bought
They
who
bought-
he's asked for.
Yeah, I was about to say they bought Anthony, who has turned out to be
People
clown the
Anthony.
Kai Havertz signing.
Varane.
Tell me Anthony isn't
Casemiro.
worse.
But those are good. The first Varane and Casemiro were decent signing. They're good signings.
Casemiro was a good signing, and I don't even think that was a Eric Ten Hag signing. I think that was a.
I think it was. It was
Really?
his first signing.
Well, I mean, I think it was one that they just made without his approval. I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
I
but
can't. I can't speak. I don't know.
Yeah,
See,
But then
some teams buy players that
their coach wants.
they coach want. Some buy players that they don't want, and then there's Liverpool.
There's Liverpool. Mickey gonna say they just don't buy players, even though they
Some-
spent all money this summer.
They spent 30 million less than United, dog.
Yeah.
This season.
This
year.
season,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like
Well, Martin Odegaard responded to
positions.
the Marcus Rashford goal 1 minute later, and I was jumping for joy at that one because I was at the Amsterdam for the first half of that game. Just walked down the street and all the Man U fans, man. There was honestly a lot of Arsenal fans, surprisingly, but there were a lot more Man U fans, and they were
biggest club in the world.
dude.
And
Right,
English. English. No, I know they're not.
I think they're gonna stop being the biggest club though because their pedigree is just so
and
is
10 years,
fallen down
it's gonna
so
be
far.
City.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
it
It's
is.
City.
When you're bringing on Maguire
Yeah,
and
dude.
Johnny
Jones.
Evans.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny Evans. I didn't even know Johnny Evans still played at
He
Manchester
didn't.
United.
They just signed him.
Yeah, they signed him on a 1-year deal off Leicester because he was leaving when they got
Bro,
relegated.
That's insanity. That's grounds to get sacked alone.
But the thing is, it's like,
That's crazy.
other than all
Varane
of this,
injured for a while.
they don't look like they have a play style. They look like
I
give
agree.
it to Rashford
and
and
hope.
hopefully he does something. But then the Jadon Sancho thing.
Oh, the controversy after the
Now,
game.
like, am I thinking is it Eric Ten Hag or was it Ronaldo? Because Ronaldo had the exact same issue. He's like, oh, how can I respect you if you don't respect me?
Yeah, but Ronaldo had the pedigree to demand that respect. I feel like I'm looking at both of them like you're both acting like children.
Yeah.
If you're the coach there and you're slating somebody in the press
Yeah,
for no real reason,
didn't look
that's
good in
not a
training.
good look. But also, if you're a player and your coach says pretty much anything, let's be honest, unless you're fucking Ronaldo, you don't go
You
and
don't,
write
like,
a statement.
put out a statement,
Because
dude.
you're definitely never touching
Never
the
playing
field
it.
again.
maybe he wants to leave. That's what he's doing that. But also, I
Probably.
kind of agree because, okay, you have Harry Maguire, Anthony, who look terrible every time they play.
Yeah.
So do they look like Ronaldinho and Maldini in
No.
practice? That's why he's playing. He doesn't like Sancho. He just doesn't like him.
I agree.
Maybe Sancho has an attitude problem.
Maybe
I've
he
seen
doesn't
couple
work hard enough.
I see a couple of videos. He got fined by Dortmund. That video with when he was in City with Phil Foden when
Oh,
he got
yeah.
subbed off. He just looked disgruntled, like wasn't
Pissed off.
Pissed off. Maybe he does have an attitude problem, but why slate him?
Like
Why-
publicly.
why
Especially
slate
he
him
didn't
cut
even
public?
play.
He didn't.
Yeah, like,
Why are we
did-
talking about
you
players
could-
that didn't even play?
You know, Eric Ten Hag can just lie. Oh, he's tired, something mental. I don't know. Just lie. Don't go, he's ass.
That felt like a clear situation of I'm going to point a finger for no reason so that people stop paying attention to how poorly I just managed this game.
Yeah, this is where you see like quarterbacks in the NFL and coaches in the Prem both need to be
On the same
like the same level of even keeled, like say the right thing every time you get behind the mic. Because like Arteta does it every time. Anytime someone asks about a specific player, he's like, can't talk about that.
And it makes sense with Ronaldo because Ronaldo is a quarterback level fucking player.
But
Yeah.
Ronaldo's also is like, I think as if he becomes a coach, I think he could be an all-time coach. I'm not like I think the dedication he has to the game, like training, showing up early, like just doing all this stuff, like he is dedicated to the game.
Yeah.
I think Eric Ten Hag is on fraud alert for me.
Been
I
on
agree.
fraud alert.
Arteta kind of is like slipping away from fraud alert from me.
I think that if this, I mean, Kai Havertz should have had a goal in this game early. That was another thing that pissed me off because he had a chance, I think, like 15 minutes in, where it just falls to his left foot in the box and
Who's
he just
having-
fluffs it.
He was having MLS All-Star flashbacks.
He didn't look bad this game by any means. These last two games, he has looked a lot better. He's looked a lot more involved in the attack.
That was an exact situation that he
had.
whiffed in the MLS All-Star
Hey,
game.
did
Oh,
you
really?
see what Arteta said about Kai Havertz?
Oh, dude. Yeah,
I'm
Miller's
gonna
Oh,
gonna
with
pull
my
up.
wife, I couldn't dominate her right
I
away.
couldn't. At the beginning when I met my wife, it was hard to conquer her.
Conquer, that's what it
It
was.
was hard. I had to try and massage her and then go and go. At the end, she said, yes. We can be together. Hey, Arteta, that's kind of weird,
Hey,
dog.
yo.
Look, man, that's lost in translation. It's
He said in
better
English.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not his first language.
After Spain, this Spain
Bro, he's been in-
debacle's been going
He's been
on
in England
too.
for like 20 years, dog.
Yeah, you could still,
Conquer?
yeah.
I'm going to conquer my wife.
And somehow
Speaking of conquering,
turn that into a discussion about Kai Havertz.
Bro, if I was Havertz, I'm going to HR, bro.
Yeah. Go to the Arsenal board, talk to Edu or Kroenke.
He was talking about conquering his wife. I felt madly uncomfortable, dog.
It was at a press conference.
That felt like a Pep moment, except
I prefer the 6.
yeah, that's like my favorite Pep moment ever.
It's pretty unreal. I prefer the win, and so does Declan Rice. That boy scored that 96-minute goal, and that was him like solidifying.
Yeah, the Emirates.
I am here.
One of the 2 players that were worth $100 million, I guess, from the midfield this year. Him and Jude.
Yeah.
So
it's looking well worth it. And then
Gabby Jesus.
90 plus 11. Gabby Jesus.
Put him on his ass,
dude. He sat Dalot down and then sat Onana down, and it was
dude.
Onana.
What's his name, dude? Because I don't know who he is or how he ended up here, but it's not looking good.
Bro, he's actually really good, but United,
I would suck.
Imagine like you're a goalkeeper, right? And you have 2 center backs in front of you,
Johnny
Evans and Harry
Maguire.
Maguire. I'd be shitting my pants, dog.
And it is messed up because he is like a ball playing goalkeeper.
Yeah,
so
he's
like
very good at that.
I think he
so
had the
when
most
your
progressive
options
passes that game.
are to progressively pass to Johnny Evans. It's like I'd probably fumble the bag just trying to pick which one was the lesser of 2 evils.
Yeah.
Man, but Gabby Jesus
I can't wait for him to
made
be back.
them boys dance.
Yeah, I cannot wait for him
The Brazilian
to
had him
start
sambaing
every week. You know what Arsenal has felt like recently, and not that we are going to challenge for the title this season. I don't think we've looked good enough. I think that
I agree.
like that Fulham draw, that Crystal Palace win. Sometimes you need to be able to squeak out a result in a tough time, but we also just haven't looked clinical enough. Even in this game, Bukayo Saka had an opportunity that should be buried 100 out of 100 times, and he shoots it right into Onana's feet. And I'm thinking, wow, we're really going to like draw 1-1, or United's going to snatch one at the end of this. But
Saka's not looking good, though.
Yeah, he's having a rough start to the season. After that first banger goal, he just hasn't.
Clear.
Yeah. I mean, for now, yeah. I mean, Saka's also, what, 21, 22?
Yeah, but the thing was, when you compare players like as the best right wingers in the world, I think if I had is like 1, then 1 point like half or something. That's where Saka is, like a little bit below him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
then it's everyone else.
It's a tier below for sure.
What you looking like?
The feeling that I get from Arsenal when they're winning these kind of like late games, like last year we saw a lot of it.
Can't lace
it was
his boots.
Bro, I'm not
the
talking about
Bournemouth game, the Southampton game, like coming back and getting a result like late on in games. It reminds me of the time when Liverpool was doing that a ton during a title challenge. There was, I don't know if it was the year that you won it or the year.
I mean, so what I was about to say is in the past, before City was the City that they are now, the team that was pushing for the title did so by getting even a point.
Yeah,
getting a
results,
point back,
like
just
something
grinding out a result. So, like in any other era where Arsenal is grinding out a point or a win at the end of the game, it's like, okay, this is a title contention team. But unfortunately, City has changed the pedigree to you're either blowing out every goddamn team you come up against, or you don't win the title.
It is actually ruining soccer to a certain degree. Like this, I would much rather be an Arsenal fan and not win the Prem every year than be a City fan and win the Prem, because the emotion that like games like this and games like the Bournemouth game or the Southampton game last season, where we are like at the death, just hoofing balls into the box and making something happen. That kind of emotion is not something City ever feels. It's just all too comfortable for the most part, except for 1 or 2 weird games a season where they like lose to Brentford.
Tottenham.
Yeah, or Tottenham.
And that usually equates
I don't think
success.
Yeah,
I don't remember City winning by like comfortable amount of points other than one time.
Yeah,
like, even last year it was like 6, Liverpool twice, 1 point.
1 point.
Yeah. They have like kind of like scraped wins multiple times. Like I don't like out of all even their first even
100 points.
No, but that's the only season. No, even that season it was only 1 point or 3 points.
Yeah, because you were 99 and they had
99.
No, but the thing is, I don't agree with like City don't win comfortably the titles. Like it's always someone like breathing down their neck.
But they win the games comfortably.
Yeah. They edge out the title.
But
even when
that's just because we were so good.
Even with their first title against United, it came down to goal difference. Like,
yeah, that was a different City culture.
What I mean is like City, like it comes down to like that one last game of the season. Like, hey, we have to win this.
Nah,
bro, it happened multiple times.
It comes down to.
I can only name one time.
Like Arsenal last season when they. What happened? They lost against.
Yeah, they drew Southampton,
and then they lost to Everton.
Us, and then they went on a slide.
But the thing is, that's because of Arsenal, not City. City is going to do what they do best and win the games. But if Arsenal won those easy games, Arsenal wins the title.
No, I agree. I mean, it's consistency, and in those moments, we didn't have the depth. Like at the end of the last season, Bukayo Saka didn't look like the same player because he's playing every single week. 40 games in a season, and he just can't handle it.
I want to see Jorginho start.
Yeah, I don't want to see that
Vieira
actually.
start.
I'm
Havertz.
intrigued by that too. I think that the Havertz experiment, if it continues and we continue kind of putting up less than stellar performances, you've got to ask, why isn't Fabio Vieira starting? Why aren't we starting Thomas Partey in the 6th and just moving Declan Rice up?
All I'm saying is,
I know he was hurt this weekend, but
Trossard's putting that ball through the back of the net in that situation.
Which one?
The miss that Havertz had.
Oh, I mean, I agree with that. I think Havertz is so like lacking in confidence. It's unreal. I think that dude is probably like going home and crying.
Yeah, I think Arteta did it to him.
No, I think that Chelsea did it to him.
Yeah, selling him for that much money.
But I think
just ruining him.
He's definitely a mid-table player.
I think that's pretty much for the week, though, right? All the games.
Yeah, I wanted to get your guys' opinion. What was everyone's favorite goal this week? If you had to pick a goal of the week.
Szoboszlai. Easy.
No.
Left foot, non-dominant foot, half volley.
Yeah,
I'm going to
just
go
a banger.
Evan Ferguson.
Which one?
Both. No, the first one. The first, like, banger outside the box.
The second half, long-range one?
Yeah, I was like, yo, what the hell is this, man? He just, like, got that space. He said, all right, I'm going to let it rip.
All right, I'm going to
He
hit
was
it.
wide open.
Yeah, because Burn.
Yeah, because how often do you score from, like, 35, bro?
I think it was, like, a goalkeeper error plus just
for
a
sure.
fantastic shot, too. And just, I love Ferguson.
If it had more pace on it, I think there was nothing that Pope could have done about it, but I think that Pope could have done better.
It was Burns' fault, but we don't have to go into that.
Okay.
What about you?
Yeah, I think my goal of the week has to be Christian Romero for Tottenham. I don't know if you guys saw that one.
Too.
It was disgusting. Just tucked right in the upper 90, off the post
They
and
had
in.
a few bangers.
They did. They had that one. They had
Madison.
the Heung-min Son, the Madison banger. It was, 5-2 is quite the scoreline.
Yeah, but half volley, non-dominant foot, outside the box.
It was nasty. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I
No
think it was
games
disgusting.
next week.
It was one of those balls, too, that
Hovers.
it just hovered because
Like
it had a little bit of
Thiago's-
backspin on it.
When Thiago hit that ball, that
Yeah.
backspin.
Kind of remind me of the Pavard goal.
Yeah,
from
Benjamin Pavard from the
It's
World
like
Cup.
he's like, he saw it, and he's like, all right, I'm just going to let it rip, boys. I was like, damn, I want him.
Yeah, it's when you hit it with like it coming across your body and just get that perfect spin on it. I don't know. It was disgusting.
It felt
what?
Gerrard-esque.
Yeah.
Gerrard-esque. Oh god.
Gerrard, overrated.
All right, Szoboszlai already is better than top 5 Premier League midfielder of all time, right?
No. That's not
Szoboszlai is
fair.
the best midfielder in the Premier
In the
League
Prem,
right now.
Right now.
I agree.
Okay.
I was lying.
I think with those hot takes, we are gonna send you guys into the international break. So thank you all for
Sad.
watching. Hate that there is international break. Hope your favorite
doesn't,
player.
though.
Hope your favorite player is playing on their international team. Though.
Most thanking God that there's an international break.
Absolutely.
Man.
But thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure to peep the next episode of Soul of the City after we play LA Galaxy. Peace. Thank you for watching this episode of Arch Rivals. Make sure to check us out on YouTube at First Touch Media, and all of our socials are at First Touch 314. Thanks for watching.